People are calling this trial a huge symbolic victory. Others, though, do remain sceptical about the outcome. We're joined by freelance journalist Ethar El-Katatney, who's in Cairo. For you this evening, you'll have watched the pictures coming out of the courthouse today. Your reaction as you watched?
I think for a lot of Egyptians, myself included, the idea that it would actually happen was, a lot of us were doubting it. Up until a minute before he walked in, I was seriously doubting that he would actually. So to see, your president, to see your ex-president, his Gamal Mubarak, less than, 200 days ago, we thought he would be our next president. To see them, dressed in white, in a cage, from a palace to a throne, palace to a cage, from the throne to, the hospital bed. It was very, very shocking on a lot of levels. You had first the excitement, and then you had silence, and then you had a lot of people actually tearing, at how the mighty have fallen.
This was certainly a moment in history, and it's a symbolically huge moment. What exactly has, though, the overthrow of Mubarak achieved?
Well, this is the thing, the transition to a democratic state. On the ground, the reality is that 6 months on, the lives of Egyptians haven't actually changed that much. There's a lot of frustration, and I do my interviews, especially when you go out of Cairo and Upper Egypt, there's a huge sense of frustration. I was in Tahrir a couple of days ago, just before the military actually evicted everyone by force. A very huge mood of frustration, the kind of, our lives were hard then, they're hard now, but now there's all this uncertainty and all this fear and all this actual, that our lives aren't better. So I think the trial injected this huge amount of dignity for Egyptians, the feeling that look at what we did, look at what we accomplished, that how we brought him down. This is actually what is accomplished. But in reality, will this actually affect huge change? The symbolism, you talked about the symbolism, it is huge. But the session, which went on for hours and hours, how much substance was there actually in there, It was very, on a psychological level, I definitely think it had a huge impact. But on the practical level, I don't think it actually served very much. The people who are still protesting, a lot more.
I'm sorry, let's remind ourselves that this is Wednesday, August the 3rd. On only Friday of last week, Tahrir Square cleared of protesters by a pretty aggressive military, a group of military who are effectively running the country at this point. Let me ask you this, what do you want to see next?
Well, if the sit-in, the July 8th sit-in hadn't actually occurred, I don't think we would have seen a public trial. And I think what's very fascinating about what happened today is that actually the lawyer of Mubarak they tried to throw responsibility back to the military, that they said that the military's been in charge since January 28th. Both sides called for Tantawi to actually be an eyewitness. So it will be interesting to see the proceedings, what the military will actually do from now on. They've kind of popped the bubble or appeased a lot of people who were, there was all this tension and aggression kind of, oh, look, something's actually happened. But in reality, if it, there's so many developments, this could happen, this could develop in so many ways, snowball in so many ways, which might not be in the best interests of the military. Egyptian state TV now, they're spinning this as, look how transparent the military is, the Supreme Council of Armed Forces. You even had Gamal Mubarak and Habib Adli shaking hands with officers as they were leaving, taking photographs. So it depends very much on how this reflects on the military, because they are in control, and we should never forget that, and always see what kind of actions will be seen from them to affect the Egyptian population. So I'm hoping the trial will actually be legitimate, and it will actually continue, and we will see actual sentences carried out.
And we hear your thoughts this evening. We thank you very much indeed for joining us. Your top story